Graham, hello.
Hello, hello, Theodore.
So I tried to do a little bit, and you also said you are busy with Goethean psychology.
Right?
You live in England.
Yes.
You and you have developed in such a way, or that also this this element of perception plays a great role in becoming oneself, in healing trauma, in developing towards your own future. Graham, please let us know more about it and do with us.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, hello, everyone. Thank you, Theodore, for inviting me. I have been an upper school science teacher for many years and working with Goethean science. And the missing Goethean science, it seemed to me, was Goethean psychology. And this Goethean psychology that I work with dozens of teachers and many other people in workshops and individual sessions, supporting them in handling the way in which their gestures echo in the classroom, and they echo in themselves. And gesture is the body of feeling, expression of the body of feeling, this expression of the astral body. And we can, in a Goethean way, observe these gestures without analyzing them, without interpreting them as normal psychology does, but actually using them as an experience with our imaginative perception and our senses. And we all live with patterns of feeling gesture in our lives. And we're like musical instruments. So when we see gesture, and that includes the tone of the voice, as well as the use of the hands or the eyes or the face, also the tone of voice, we echo inwardly with the gestures that we see. And when those echoes resonate with something that's difficult for us, then we can say, oh, we don't like that. And when it resonates with something different, then we can say we do like it. But these patterns, of course, are laid down over our experiences in the past. But the Goethean psychology doesn't go back into the past. It stays in the present. Now, I'd like to just describe the relationship to trauma work, and then I'd like to offer you a little experience of what the Goethean psychology method can be. And so I want to go back to what James Dyson remarked. He said in his experience, he described, I felt trapped, but the part of me that I saw with was not trapped. The part of me that I was observing that I was trapped was not trapped. This is the eye, of course. The eye can see the astral gesture and be free. And when the eye is sunk into the astral gesture, then of course it's not free. And there are various repercussions. And Rudolf Steiner describes in his description of the soul life in detail in what he called psychosophy. He describes how emotional astral patterns can live in us. And he actually, I think this is a correct translation of the German, but it's quite strong, he calls them parasites. They can have a life of their own. Now, if we have a traumatic experience, that gesture of feeling in our astral body is something we can't put meaning to. We can't digest it. It's like food. And because we can't digest it, it stays undigested within us. And it starts to live in us, and it penetrates the etheric, and then finally into the physical body as symptoms. Now, Goethean psychology is not to do with retrieving it. That's re-traumatization. That's quite a different methodology. But if my eye can actually see the gesture, I become free by seeing it. When I can digest it, a young child who undergoes a sexual abuse or a traumatic experience, the experience is undigestible. They don't have the eye forces to take hold of it. So the Goethean psychology method awakens the eye forces to see what is in the now, not in the past, but what is there now. And in the now, then, can penetrate it with meaning. So the eye makes meaning. And you know that when we find meaning for something, we become freer. We become freed by finding meaning. If there's something we're puzzled over, we just don't understand it. We're sort of struggling. And then we have clarity and we actually say, I see. Now, I only have a little time here. So what I'd just like to do would be to say, the eye can enter when we have the capacity to step back. Science itself is the act of stepping back to look at the phenomena. Now, science goes on to create theories and ideas and so on. Goethean science stays with the gesture of the plant, the relationships, the gesture relationships between plants and animals and so on. And Goethean psychology does exactly the same. Now, what I invite you to do is, if you want to, you're welcome, you feel quite free about this. I invite you to have a little experience of what I mean, not by entering into any kind of personal trauma or even any difficult feelings. That's not where we're going to go, but it will give you, in a simple way, an idea, a taste of what this method is about, and then you can do more with it. I mentioned in my brief, there's more there you can explore if you'd like to with the website and so on. So what I invite you to do is to remember a recent occasion. I said we don't go right back into the past, we don't, but like this today, yesterday, last week, maybe last month. But to remember an occasion, a particular occasion, when you felt heard. You were speaking to somebody, or you may not have been speaking, but you could still feel heard. The person can respond and you think, ah, they saw me. They saw me, they understood me, they noticed, I was listened to. It might be in a shop where somebody says, well, toothpaste is in aisle number 17. And you go and you think, oh, where is it? Oh, yeah, thank you. You got it for me. Thank you. Many. So at whatever level you want to choose, spend a few moments just finding a very concrete situation where you felt listened to. It's a nice feeling. You should be able to find one, hopefully that experience with a friend or wherever. Now, there are 174 of us. Otherwise, I would invite you to raise an electronic hand when you have found a situation to use, but that's going to take a long time. So I'll assume that you have found one. So join in if you want to. What I invite you to do, and I'll do this with you as well, so you can see me sort of doing it as well. I invite you to remember that experience, that really glad experience we can have when we're listened to, and feel it. Feel it in your body, feel how it is in yourself, and then just sort of gesture the feeling you have, which may be quite different from mine, so don't copy me. You find your own personal expression for that experience and gesture it. Go ahead and do that now. Gesture it. But don't look at mine necessarily, just do your own gesture. Feel it and gesture the feeling. And then get up and walk away. Walk away and look out the window or in your room somewhere where there's something nice. Just look around. Swing your arms around and just sort of breathe a little bit. Breathe. And then look across at your chair and see the person sitting there with that gesture. Look at them there. Take them in. You know them well. They're someone you know very well and a part of you really, looking at them with that gesture that they have there. You could come to the back of the chair and just look down at them there and just Just see them with your imaginative perception. Just see them, see the gesture that they have. Spend a few moments just taking them in, letting them be there before you. And then when you feel you've done enough of that, then just come back and sit down again. Now, although there are 174 of us, I'm going to risk inviting any of you, well, asking you, first of all, inviting all of you, go back to the memory that you chose. Go back to it. And notice, has your feeling about that memory changed at all? Is there a quality of change in that feeling you have now about that memory that was different from before? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe subtle, maybe strong. But if you have any change of feeling, or if you don't, then can everybody just unmute themselves? Is that possible, Theodore? And just speak when they want to? I'm sure it'll work okay. So just share whether there's any change in your feeling. Stay with that. Just, is there any change in your feeling?
Yes.
Okay. Can you quickly say what it is in one word or 2 words or so, just?
More pronounced.
More pronounced. Thank you.
Deeper and wider.
Deeper and wider.
Yes, more light in it.
More light coming into it, more light shining on it.
It has expanded.
Expanded. Gosh, these are wonderful words. We could make a list of them. Your wonderful, rich experiences. Yeah.
When I'm received and held by the eye of the other, I am received by the higher hierarchies.
All right, that's a theological description of things. How do you feel now, though? How's the difference in feeling rather than the theology, as it were? Sorry, I'm not being rude, but it's good to stay with the feeling you actually experience rather than, can you find an experience that you can express rather than an interpretation? This is where the Goethean psychology comes in. So,
In the chat, they find many beautiful descriptions in many languages now.
Right. Whoever was speaking,
yeah.
Whoever was speaking of the hierarchies, forgive me, it's just that I'm trying to distinguish between interpretation. That's a beautiful interpretation. That's really exquisite interpretation. I'm so sorry if I appeared to dismiss it. I was just intent, and perhaps too intent, on seeing that we stayed with our experience. So forgive me, that's a beautiful interpretation.
I understand the process is very helpful. Thank you.
Good, okay. Yeah. Well, there's lots of responses in the chat, which...
Thank you so much, Graham, for sharing this exercise with us and making us aware that your intention is to stay in the present.
In the present.
You only use the picture from the past, but everything else,
because to go back in the past is to re-traumatize, it, not right.
Even if you agree, even when you looked at this person, how is it now? It was in the present, not in the past anymore. One thinks it's in the past, but it's in the present. And that's where this people report comes from, that in a way.
I am is in the present. I feel present. It's interesting. I feel present. The I am feels present. It's also when we present something, as I have been doing, I have to be very present. And if it's my birthday, I get a present. In English, there's a fascinating little connection of the word present, which the translators will have a terrible time with. So sorry.
And if people want to continue the discussion in the proceedings, people can continue to discuss with you, and you're
very welcome.
Will answer.
Yes, of course. Yes,
Yeah?
do message me. I
So
only speak
please.
English, I'm afraid. I only have English, sorry.
Yeah, but if they put it in the chat on the website, it's easy to translate it. Yeah.
All right,
Great.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Graham, thanks so much for approaching us and sharing this important quality of presence also when you work with past material, that you can do this.
Thank you for inviting me, Theodore.
Anastasia, can you now search for truth and share her screen or bring her on the screen? And Graham, I say goodbye to you.
Goodbye,
So
thank you.
happy that you brought this.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.